Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon Eastern. You think about it, we rant about it. Listen to us live on Facebook.
So I goofed on Wednesday when I said that today was a holiday. And boy, did I get overwhelmed, Stuart, with people saying, "What are you talking about? That's next week." And you're right. Next week is the oppressive government's way of forcing me not to work, but who cares? I'm going to rant anyways. But hi, guys. Welcome back to the Rant Network, our Monday, Wednesday, Friday rant. And folks, today the topic is one that I think impacts everybody. And that is really, we look at the economy, and what we've seen in the last 2 years is something that has been absolutely bizarro. We saw oil prices go down to a ridiculous price, and then it just flipped the other direction, and we're at record highs, over $5 a gallon in the United States, almost 250 a liter here in Canada. It's insane. Couple that with real estate prices that have gone through the roof. Couple that with supply chain problems. So couple that with food prices being so unaffordable that people are wondering whether they can put food on the table, and we have an employment crisis. So the solution that the Fed in the United States and the Bank of Canada and the Bank of England and others have said is we're going to do this the traditional way. We're going to slow down the economy by raising interest rates, but not just a quarter point, not just a half a point, but in the Fed put it up 75 basis points or 0.75%. Stuart, from my point of view, and I'm not a finance guy like you are, all I see is that everything, including the food I got to put on the table, becoming so expensive. I don't think this is the right solution, Stuart. What do you think?
Okay, look, I'm a financial advisor. I'm licensed. I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm talking in general about this topic. So I just need to give that little quick disclaimer. As David, you wrote this perfectly. Gas, food, real estate, amongst many things, are skyrocketing out of control. Supply chain issues, war in the Ukraine. Yes, war in the Ukraine. Russia declaring war on the world by prohibiting the export of nutrients for us to grow, which is ammonia nitrate. Yes, David, I'm harping on that. But yes, we're talking about finance. Why am I going back over and over again, the same things over and over and over again? Gas, $5.80 a gallon right now in Beverly Hills, right? It was 45%
Really?
less.
580. No, it was way more than that. I saw it like almost at $7 in Beverly Hills.
Well, yeah, it's come down a bit. But, the next thing is inflation. I'm going to use shrinkflation, right? Well, I'm not making up words. Shrinkflation. Then you got stagflation, right? Then you've got the interest rate where you may end up with an inverted yield curve. And you've got government bodies that are saying, hey, I got your best interests at heart. Let's first give you a higher minimum wage, and then let's take away 3 times that wage increase. So a guy that went from $11 to $15 an hour is now paying, $4.50 more per hour on just their basic living expenses. They're called flat taxes, right? Inflation. So if I cost more to borrow money, right? It costs more to operate a business, right? People don't seem to understand that if I pay you more money an hour, the cost of that item that you are producing or service you're providing needs to go up in cost. And that cost you're going to pay because, yes, you may not go to the Mercedes-Benz dealer, you're going to the Honda dealer, but the guy that was working at Honda go get some higher paying job at Mercedes, and now they have an employment issue at Honda, and now your car doesn't get fixed. The parts that are coming over ships, you have the President of the United States villainizing all of the carriers, which are about 4 major corporations that own these shipping containers and big ships, and it's all their fault. In the United States, you got a government blaming everyone except his own party's rule. Since 1994, you haven't had an increase at the Fed at 75 basis points. That is a massive, massive stop. Now, most countries have debt. United States got debt. Canada's got debt. And, we got to service this debt. So United States has got to pay other countries like Europe and China, right, to pay the money that we borrowed for. By raising it 0.75% and now causing what's a 6% 30-year mortgage in the United States, at the very least, isn't the bad part. Mortgage rates at 6-7% are normal, everyone, and they should not be looked at as being crazy. That $200,000 house is now going to cost you over $400,000. That's just with this raise, right? So that 6% mortgage is normal. What isn't normal is free money. And now we're all going to pay the price. Now, every company in America is taking their products and going like cereal. How do I have that $5.99 price tag and still give you a product? Well, I'm going to give you from 26 to 19 grams or ounces, whatever it is. I'm going to give you less and try and fool you as a consumer. The government's trying to tell you that everything's going to be okay. I would say about 80% of all people in the economy that work in either an executive office of a company or in finance, we are in a recession. If you don't believe we're not in a recession, you are so confused. You should be saving every nickel and dime and watching every penny that goes out of your bank account now, more than you ever did before. Reduce your credit cards at all costs. You need to reduce your debt immediately. If you got extra stuff that you want to do, don't do it. You want to buy that extra? Don't. Stock up your refrigerator with stuff you need. Stock up your pantries with non-perishables, because those prices are going to go through the roof and get harder and harder to get. Look at baby formula. We went through toilet paper. We went through paper towel. We went through trying to get soap products. This is going to go across everything that we use. It's really scary, David. David, the term of shrinkflation is something that you as a young child might have remembered. I remember my chocolate bar being this big. Now it's this big. Now it's this big.
That's pretty big.
Now it's going to be this
Yeah,
big.
Stuart, I've been listening to you, and I got to tell you, one of the things that's scary is I absolutely, and this is what I'm trying to gather. The government says let's raise interest rates because we're going to slow down the economy. Again, let's put the onus on people. Now, I got to tell you, I don't know if you heard, here in Canada, the finance minister went up there and she just threw more money out at people. We're going to try to help you. We'll try that, but we didn't help the problem. Okay,
Nope.
Gas prices has a domino effect that sadly enough, I heard Joe Biden, I heard Justin Trudeau blame the gas companies. Record profits. That's what they blame. Record profits. But there is, but
no, there isn't. There isn't record. That's a lie. They're lying.
I got it. But the funny thing is that does the government actually disclose the amount of gas tax it makes from all these increases? Of course not. It won't, because that would be too good. So the government.
Well, in the United States, it's more transparent. So that actually you can figure out. Where Canada, you have a lot of embedded taxes that are not.
Stuart, no, you can actually figure out these taxes. The thing is that once again, this is the government playing blame on somebody else, and this is what scares me. The Fed, which is like it's supposed to control inflation. It's not supposed to let it get to 8%. Joe Biden said yesterday that the United States inflation rate is the lowest amongst Western nations.
He's lying. It's an absolute flat-out lie.
Because Canada's is lower and other countries in the West are the lower. And yet he said, he's trying to pull the
Listen, there are more handlers that Biden has that everything he says is wrong. For 40 years, this guy doesn't know what planet he's on. So it's scary. It's the most frightening thing in the world. He says something, and you have the insane left that believe this, and it's a false story. Everyone on CNBC, when this guy opens his mouth, is like, ugh.
But Stuart, here's my question to you, okay? Look, let's say you were consulting for the Fed. Let's say you were standing in front of, the Bank of Canada, whatever. What do we do? Because the truth is that the Fed is supposed to be...
So the Fed is actually doing, I understand you're trying to question out, but I need to jump in, right? The Fed needs to raise interest rates. We know that, from Japan's example, in finance, we look at history to try and understand how things may work. And
Right.
again, it's a very complicated box.
Yeah.
Janet Yellen is a politician now. You just don't keep giving people money isn't going to solve the problem. They're trying to kick the can down the road. Raising interest rates, and the reason why that is really needed is because you need to cool. It's called a cooler. Why does a casino change a dealer and flip a card? To try and cool the shoe. They need to cool the deck. Companies got money. They got to be wise with their money. You're an independent person. You got to be wise with your money. You can't be living above your means. You got to live
No,
below your means.
but hold on a second. But hold on a second. Here's the problem, which is scary, okay? Yes, they just raised interest rates. I get it. So that means that if I'm living off of a line of credit because I can't afford my basics, I can't put food on my table. Stuart, the average basket today, the food basket has gone up substantially, and yet the average person is struggling to put staples
paycheck to
on the
paycheck.
table. And now
70% of America is on paycheck to paycheck. I'm sure it's no different in Canada.
it's worse. It's going to be worse. Now the question is, if you raise interest rates, and now my line of credit interest has gone up because it's going to, there's that domino effect. I can't afford to put more food. I can't afford to put food.
The call to everyone is, and again, I'm asked this question. Okay, what do I do with my money? That's one question I get, David. Okay, what are millionaires doing? They're, the basis. There's a report on CNBC. Actually, my dad gets credit. He actually heard it. Said, Stuart, you've been saying the right thing. Go figure. 3 to 5 years. We call that short-term money, right?
Yep.
Is all being put in fixed income instruments that are going to, relatively with some certainty, pay you $1 today versus $1 in the future.
But what does a person do? Think about people who don't have savings right now.
Listen. Most of America goes and buys their lunch, goes out for dinner. People need to stop going out and spending money and start saving money. Oh, by the way, that kills your local restaurant. By the way, that restaurant has employees. It becomes a domino effect. But at the end of the day, the government cares about itself. Hey, man, I got a brand new Tesla. Every friggin' politician in Canada, U.S. says, you should get one too at $60,000. What are they, crazy? Listen.
But basically what's happening here right now is
save your money.
Save your money, but the economy is only going to get worse.
Yep.
There's no improvement here.
18 to 24 months, I'm telling you, my prediction is recession, and it's going to be a strong recession. I think it's going to be a 1980 type recession. I don't think we're going to have 24 uncontrollable interest rates. I think interest rates are going to go up in the United States, mortgage rates 6 to 8%.
I'm going to tell you something. Yep. I think there's one thing that's frightening me and that's worse that's coming up is that the baby boomers will be in retirement age and will tax the government even more.
Listen, we're running quick.
I know, but I'm just saying that this is what scares me is I look, and this is what I'm saying. The economy's headed. You're right. I think everybody's got to bail. Save your money.
I joke with people, or I used to joke with people. If you retire 2008.5, it was a very scary time for you. And it didn't become not scary until about 2012 to 2014. Yeah. I'm telling everyone who's trying to save their money or needs to retire in the next so many years, be prepared, be scared, because it's going to be that scary. Your 401k shrunk trillions of dollars in the last couple of days. It's going to shrink trillions of dollars more. David, we're at the quarter hour. This is a long topic.
Stuart, no, but you know what? But you're right. But here's the thing that we're hearing. The bottom line is that the government isn't protecting us. Again, the bottom line is that the government is actually just put on us a new tax that they're not going to call it a tax because it's an interest rate. They're going to say it's not them, it's the feds or the Bank of Canada or whomever. They're going to pass off the blame again. And at the end of the day, you're right. There's going to be much, much more suffering. So save your money. Don't spend it.
I think we got to talk about this again on Monday. I think this is such a massive topic, finance. And David, just to keep telling you, and again, I'm asked this question. I got to tell you, if it was me who was retiring today, I would be frightened if I wasn't prepared for this going in.
Well,
Guys, $1 today worth more than $1 in the future. There are husbands and wives that are fighting about it because the husband or the wife was doing the investment and looked like a rock star. Guys, just take a deep breath. It's a wild ride. A lot of people are going to lose money. But again, I want to talk to you, not to put fear in you, but to get readiness and preparedness. It isn't on you yet. It's coming. Quarter hour's done, David.
Stuart,
What did I say? I didn't even say anything yet.
You know what? The crazy thing is, you're right. You didn't say anything, but you said a lot. And I thank you for this. And I think if anybody was watching and listening to this, save your money because the next 2 years, it's going to be a roller coaster. On that note, folks, we want to wish you all a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy. We